You spend so much time working, yet your income is this low. Are you really that incapable? Huh. Well, if you're just a parasite bringing in only $1,200 a month, then get divorced and leave. My mother-in-law, who never liked me in the first place, finally suggested divorce. Seeing the triumphant look on her face, I couldn't help but sigh. My in-laws don't matter to me anymore. The resentment I had been suppressing towards them suddenly overflowed. Just because I was quiet doesn't mean I was a serious and obedient wife. I've endured everything because she was my husband's mother, but I can't take it anymore. I'll make sure she regrets looking down on me. I am Ashley, and I will be 27 years old. I started dating my husband, Jeff, in college, and we got married 2 years ago. We don't have children yet, but we're living a happy life. Right after we got married, Jeff made a suggestion. Ashley, why don't you become a housewife after we get married? How? What's up all of a sudden? You talked about wanting to be a housewife before, right? Yeah, but don't worry. I'll work hard and earn for you and our future child. I was honestly surprised by this. Jeff was not exactly a straightforward type and tended to spend his salary on fun rather than saving. Becoming a housewife and losing my income meant relying on his earnings. As a result, his disposable income would decrease. Moreover, Jeff's mother, who loves him dearly, doesn't seem very fond of me. She might see me as the evil woman who stole her beloved son. What would her reaction be if I decided to depend on him as a housewife? The anxiety just kept growing. Even when I talked to Jeff about it, he always said repeatedly, "Don't worry." He asked me to focus on managing the household properly. He claimed he would handle his mother if anything happened between her and me. With him insisting so much, I decided to quit my job upon getting married and embarked on the path of a housewife. Soon after our marriage, a year passed since I married Jeff, and I got used to the life of a housewife, supporting my husband and managing the household. Although my mother-in-law sometimes made sarcastic comments over the phone, we didn't live together, so I didn't take it too much to heart. However, recently, Jeff's behavior changed. He seemed grumpier than usual and often showed irritation during our conversations. The cause was soon apparent. One day, after coming home from work, Jeff, unable to hide his irritation, said to me, "Hey, let's talk about money." Huh. Hand over the cash. I'm short, so prepare $300. What happened? I just gave you this month's money, right? Shut up. It's the money I earned. There should be no problem, right? Jeff's salary was entirely managed by me. This was something he had asked me to do when we first got married. If I keep it, I'll spend it all. So Ashley, please manage it. Since then, I had been giving him a monthly allowance of $300. We tightened our belts and saved any surplus money. I felt guilty for not working, so I hadn't touched his earnings, covering necessary expenses from my savings. Even though he earned it, I might not have the right to comment on it, but I was truly surprised by his sudden change in personality. Thinking it best not to anger him further, I handed over the $300 as requested. Then he immediately cheered up and returned to his usual kind demeanor. "Thanks, Ashley. Sorry, all right. I went a bit overboard with spending this month." "Yeah, don't worry. It's okay." "That's right. After all, I'm the one earning the money." "Yes, that's true. I always appreciated Jeff." From that day on, his financial demands gradually increased. Half a year later, he suddenly announced, "I've quit my job." "Wait, what did you say?" "I've quit my job." My husband, who had come home early, loosened his tie while making this declaration. While I was folding laundry, I asked him, puzzled, "Quit? What do you mean?" "Literally, I'll start looking for another job tomorrow." "Wait, what about our livelihood?" "We can use our savings. No problem, right?" "But Jeff, you've spent quite a bit in the last 6 months, so there's hardly any savings left. What are we going to do now?" My voice inadvertently rose in response to this unexpected turn of events. At that moment, he scratched his head in irritation and coldly retorted, "You're so annoying. If you have a problem, why don't you earn money yourself?" What? Really? If you had been working, maybe we could have saved more. Yet you're doing nothing every day. What do you mean? It was you who asked me to become a housewife, right? That was just a formality, but you went ahead and quit without hesitation, leading to this situation. What are you saying? Normally, I would be angry at his self-centered words, but at that time, I was profoundly shocked. Is this my fault? When Jeff suggested I quit my job, was it just a facade? Was quitting actually a mistake? If I had continued to work, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. Thinking about it now, I think I should have ignored those worries and considered divorce immediately. But he was someone I once loved. It was not easy to detach my heart. Instead, I started to blame myself every day. From the next day on, a series of hardships began. "I'll find a new job," my husband declared that, but he did nothing at home and just fiddled with his smartphone. Even when he saw me working busily, he had no intention of helping. Moreover, he started making rude comments. "Hey, hurry up and find a job." I don't mind finding a job, but what about you, Jeff? You're going to look for one, right? You're so annoying. You're not in a position to order me around. What do you mean? Am I supposed to earn alone? You've been living off me all this time. Don't complain. Unbelievable. During this time, my husband became completely unresponsive. If this continued, our livelihood would be untenable. Reaching this conclusion, I decided to contact my previous employer to express my desire to return to work. The response was positive, and I was able to resume working the following month. After returning to work, the time shared with my husband decreased, and with it, my mental burden lightened. In fact, returning to work after a while brought me joy, and my workplace became my only place of respite. When the first month of my return to work passed, I received a call from my mother-in-law. "Hello, Ashley. I heard you've started working again." "Yes, that's right. I've returned to my previous job." To my response, my mother-in-law openly expressed her dissatisfaction. "If that's the case, you should have just continued working quietly from the beginning instead of choosing to play the role of all-maker. Were you so dissatisfied with Jeff's income? Was it not enough for you? What a vulgar daughter-in-law. No, my return is not because. No excuses. In the end, you're just trying to earn more because Jeff's money isn't enough, right? You're really greedy. That's not true. It's not for that reason. Don't argue back. It's your choice to return or not, but don't think I'll allow you to take more money from Jeff just because you're working again." After saying that, my mother-in-law immediately ended the call. What was that? She was talking as though I'm in the wrong. Doesn't she understand the real reason why I went back to work? That night, I decided to confront my husband about this. "Jeff, haven't you told your mother about quitting your job? There's no need to specifically talk about it. Today, she criticized me over the phone for returning to work. Hey, can't you handle your relationship with my mother more smoothly? As a wife, you're really troublesome." "What do you mean? I returned to work to protect our joint life." "All right, I'll talk to my mom." "Okay. Are you satisfied now?" My husband yelled loudly and stormed out of the room. Left alone, I was overwhelmed with tears. Why do I have to be the one blamed? The reason our current livelihood is sustainable is because I'm working. During this period, my husband's days were spent either relaxing idly at home or going to the casino. Even though I was the only one earning for our livelihood, he freely spent all the savings. But those savings quickly ran out. Then he made an unbelievable request. "Ashley, can you give me some pocket money?" What are you talking about?" "I want some pocket money. I've run out of my savings." "Is that true? I thought we had saved quite a bit by being frugal." "Stop nagging. You're earning, so a little should be okay, right? Come on, Hurry up." My husband reached out to me with a pleased look. I was truly angry and retorted clearly, "This is a joke. I can't do that." "What? What's gotten into you suddenly?" "Don't ask for pocket money when you're not working. If you need it, you should earn it yourself." "Hey, Ashley, what do you mean by that? I supported us in the past, you know. Currently, I'm the one working and supporting our household. If you have complaints, contribute to the household finances first." When I yelled, my husband tried to retort, but ended up sighing and started fiddling with his smartphone, seeming frustrated by my words. A few days later, he proudly reported, "I got a part-time job at a casino." From then on, he spent 3 to 4 days a week at his part-time job, earning about $1,000 a month. But he used that money however he liked without contributing to the household. As if gloating about earning from his part-time job, his behavior changed to that of a traditional head of the household. He frequently expressed his satisfaction with the cooking and cleaning, often insisting, "I'm earning too." One day, on a holiday, I was swamped with housework from early in the morning. There's no time to do them on weekdays, and I can't expect him to help. That day, he was out at the casino, providing me with the perfect opportunity to tidy up the house all at once. As I started cleaning, the doorbell suddenly rang. When I checked the monitor, my mother-in-law was there. Reluctantly, I opened the door, and she immediately started talking. "Oh, Ashley, you're off today, aren't you?" "Yes, I'm not working today." "But working? You mean your part-time job? I've heard from Jeff. Acting so high and important about work when you're only working for such a little income." On what basis did she say that? In fact, I have returned to full-time work, not part-time. It's him who's working part-time, and I'm the one supporting our current financial situation. It seems he hasn't yet informed her that he quit his job. Moreover, he has falsely told his mother that I'm the one working part-time to suit his narrative. However, she ignored this and boldly entered the house. Upon surveying the room, she coldly remarked, "Well, it seems you're not keeping the house in order. How sloppy." "I've been busy with work, and I thought I'd catch up on household chores today." "Humph, busy with just a part-time job, and you can't even manage regular housework. But that's because—" "What's this?" My mother-in-law picked up a pay slip that had fallen under the desk. It was something my husband had brought back just the day before from his part-time job. Seeing the amount listed, she scoffed. "Look at this. What? $1,200. Seriously? That's working all day in a flurry for such a meager salary. How can you be so incompetent?" "That slip is—" Before I could say anything, she cut me off. "Be quiet. You spend so much time working, yet your income is this low. Are you really that incapable?" "Huh. Well, if you're just a parasite bringing in only $1,200 a month, then get divorced and leave." My mother-in-law, who never liked me in the first place, finally suggested divorce. Seeing the triumphant look on her face, I couldn't help but sigh. My in-laws don't matter to me anymore. The resentment I had been suppressing towards them suddenly overflowed. Just because I was quiet doesn't mean I was a serious and obedient wife. I've endured everything because she was my husband's mother, but I can't take it anymore. I'll make sure she regrets looking down on me. I contacted my husband and told him to come home immediately. With his arrival, the truth would come to light. About 30 minutes later, Jeff returned home. As soon as my husband came back, his mother warmly greeted him. "Welcome back, Jeff. Please break up with this woman." "What's the sudden talk, Mom?" "Oh, isn't this woman just leeching off you, Jeff?" Surprised by her remark, my husband showed his astonishment. Without paying any mind, my mother-in-law continued, "Acting all high and mighty with just a part-time job while you work hard every day." No, Mom, it's okay, Jeff. I'm on your side. Even if you get divorced, as long as you are earning, there's no problem." "That's not it, you know. I just saw that slip. Ashley pretends to be busy. But she is only earning $1,200, right? What should we do about that? Mom, actually, Jeff began. Finally, my mother-in-law noticed Jeff's serious expression. What, Jeff? That slip you saw, it's actually mine. What? Look, my name is here. Actually, I've resigned. What? I've never heard of such a thing. Weren't you supposed to be supporting us with your income? Sorry, I didn't want to complicate things. Now I'm working part-time at a casino. My mother-in-law's eyes widened in surprise as she looked back and forth between her son and his pay slip. Trying to reassure her, my husband desperately showed a smile. Don't worry, Mom. I'm working part-time now, but Ashley is earning for us too. Your future is safe with Ashley's income. Why would you say that? Relying on that woman? Don't say that. We're managing somehow because of Ashley. Be quiet. Quitting your job without telling me? How dare you? Well, there were some issues with my boss. Seeing my husband appease my mother-in-law without any apology to me blew away the last of my feelings. It was more than enough reason to consider divorce. Taking a deep breath, I spoke calmly. I've decided to leave this house. You and your mother should get along well from now on. What? Wait, why are you leaving? The reason is clear. We're getting divorced. Divorce? Wait, what will become of me and Mom if we get divorced? Faced with my husband's immature dependency, I shouted firmly, "Be quiet." Taking a deep breath, I yelled with all my might, "Support you and your mother with my income." That's ridiculous. I am not a servant to such a foolish mother and son. It's unthinkable to work hard for such an absurd pair. Ashley, calm down. Let's talk this out. We can reconcile, he said. There's nothing I want to discuss. It was a mistake to try to maintain this marriage. Live happily with your beloved mother, I retorted. But Ashley, I have no intention of wasting any more time with such foolish people. If you understand, don't ever appear before me again, you fools. Having released all my pent-up frustrations, I quickly began to pack my things. Leaving my stunned husband and mother-in-law in the room, I left the house without hesitation. After that decision, I proceeded with the divorce proceedings and opened the door to a new single life. Now my ex-husband lives with his mother at their family home. Behind this is the fact that my mother-in-law, furious that he quit his job without notice, has decided to monitor him strictly. Until I approve of your work, nothing is allowed, is her firm policy. He, lacking thoughtfulness, shows no resistance to his mother's harsh words and complies. He is currently attending interviews for several jobs his mother found, but there's still no news of him being hired anywhere. Additionally, the return of the jobless son to the family home became known in the neighborhood, gradually thinning my mother-in-law's social connections. This is truly a case of reaping what one sows. The mother and son deserve these consequences. As for me, after the divorce, I moved to a new apartment closer to my workplace and am now fully immersed in work, enjoying fulfilling days. I've sworn never to marry again. From now on, I will live solely for myself and spend my earnings only on myself. Is it impossible to increase the living expenses? It's impossible to get by with just $3 a month, said my son, a university student living alone. Answering his call, I heard something unexpected. What? $3 a month? My voice grew louder in surprise. What on earth is going on? In reality, I had been sending $1,000 to my son's bank account every month. Then my son continued with even more shocking words. I didn't want to tell you since you were fired, Mom, but living on a monthly allowance of $3 is difficult. Fired? I am a nurse and had just finished a night shift. There was no truth to being fired. To understand the situation, I hurried to my son's apartment. When I rang the doorbell, my son came to greet me. He was thinner than when he was at home, and his complexion was poor. He was clearly living frugally, not even using the heater in this cold weather. I'm using only a blanket to save on electricity. I've been working hard at my part-time job, but with university studies, I'm busy every day. I felt at my limit, so I called you, Mom. When I checked his bank account statement, it was true that only $3 had been deposited each month. I'm sorry for not noticing earlier, but I was actually sending $1,000 a month. How did this situation happen? For now, I'll withdraw some cash from a nearby ATM. I quickly went to an ATM, withdrew money, and handed it to my son. Is it okay to give me so much? Thank you, Mom. I always pretended to be fine in our calls to avoid worrying you, but I'm glad I could tell you the truth today. My heart ached for my son's efforts. Such a situation was unimaginable. Could it be? With these doubts, I told my son, until the cause becomes clear, I'll give you cash directly starting next month. After I changed the method of sending allowances to direct handovers to my son, my husband became furiously angry and confronted me. Hey, isn't it the day to send money to our son? What are you doing slacking off? My name is Rachel. After graduating from nursing school, I pursued my dream job as a nurse and have been living busy days. Romance was something I was uninvolved in, and I never had a serious boyfriend. But I didn't mind much. I thought casually that someday I would meet someone wonderful and build a happy relationship. Nevertheless, it seemed my parents were worried about me. Rachel, Dad's friend's son, would be perfect for you. Don't you want to meet him? I was surprised by such a sudden suggestion. What? Why all of a sudden? Is it like a matchmaking meeting? No, it's nothing as formal as a matchmaking meeting. Just a dinner with the four of us. Following my father's advice, I eventually decided to attend the dinner. Nice to meet you, I'm Matt. Matt, my father's friend's son, was 3 years older than me and worked as a civil servant. He had a serious impression, but his smile was very gentle and had a heartwarming aura. Attracted to his personality, I quickly developed a liking for Matt. It seemed Matt also had a good impression of me, and after that, we occasionally had dinner together, eventually leading to a relationship. After dating for 2 years, we happily got married. With this joy, we decided to buy a new house together. For me, who had been away from romance for a long time, meeting Matt felt like fate. My father, too, was surprised and overjoyed by the deepening of our relationship, even shedding tears at our wedding. His tears of joy made our happiness even more special. Our marriage brought many blessings from friends and relatives, filling the start of our new life with warm messages of celebration. Not long after beginning our happy married life, I discovered I was pregnant, bringing even more joy to our family. I decided to take maternity leave and parental leave. In our family, a healthy baby boy was born, and we named him Nick. Nick grew up energetically, and every time we witnessed his growth, our happiness only increased. Matt was a wonderful father. Even on days when he came home exhausted, he always actively participated in housework and childcare. I deeply appreciated and felt love for his efforts. Matt, I truly appreciate your help with the household chores. What are you talking about? This is nothing. We are a couple, after all, Matt always replied with a kind smile. Every time I saw his warm smile, I felt my love for him deeply. When Nick turned 1 year old, I returned to my job as a nurse, taking a new step in balancing work and family. We took turns dropping off and picking up Nick from daycare, working together and spending our days cooperatively. Time passed and Nick became a senior in high school. I turned 47 and Matt reached the milestone of 50. Nick, I've prepared sandwiches for a late-night snack. Have some whenever you want, I said, bringing the snack to his room as usual. Thanks, Mom. Sandwiches, that's great. Your snacks give me the energy to study late into the night, Nick said, pausing his studies to smile and express his gratitude. He's always been such an honest and good boy, and I am deeply grateful for a son like him. He was preparing for university entrance exams, aiming for a college outside our state. If he passed, he would start living alone from spring, leaving our home. It's sad, but it's the path Nick chose. We decided to support him with all our might. Finally, the day of the exam arrived. "I'm off, Dad," Nick said cheerfully as he greeted us at the entrance, his face slightly tense as he stepped outside. "Do your best, Nick. I'm sure you'll be fine." I encouraged him. "Keep calm and tackle the questions. You can do it." Matt also cheered him on. Hearing our words, Nick nodded firmly and headed for the examination venue. Ultimately, Nick successfully passed into his preferred university. "Congratulations, Nick. It's sad to see you leave home, but I'm so happy you passed." I congratulated him. "Well done, Nick. You are our pride." Matt also expressed his joy. We celebrated his university acceptance with a lavish feast, sharing in Nick's happiness. "Thank you, Mom and Dad. I couldn't have come this far without the two of you. I'll give it my all at university, too." Nick expressed his gratitude. Thus, Nick was set to start living alone in a different state from autumn. To support Nick's tuition and living expenses, I started doing more night shifts to earn extra allowance. I was managing the household finances and had decided to send Nick $1,000 every month. Although I felt guilty for frequently leaving the house empty due to my night shifts, Matt always supported and encouraged me. "Rachel, I really appreciate you working so hard for the $1,000 for Nick. I know it's tough, so it's a big help." Matt expressed his gratitude. "Thank you for always being there for me. I can keep going because you're with me," I replied. Thanks to Matt actively taking care of cooking and household chores, I could concentrate on my work. September came and Nick moved into the apartment we had chosen together, and the remittances began. I transferred $1,000 to Nick's bank account every month, and before we knew it, several months had passed. "Did you transfer the $1,000 to Nick this month? You didn't forget, did you?" Matt asked. "Of course, I transferred it properly." "I wouldn't forget," I replied. Matt showed a relieved smile, but then furrowed his brows and said worriedly, "I wonder if Nick is doing well living alone. I hope he's keeping up with his classes. I just hope he doesn't get involved with the wrong friends." "There's no need to worry. Nick said he's enjoying university life on Messenger, Matt. You worry too much." I often smiled at Matt's concern for Nick. I also kept in frequent contact with Nick, ensuring he was doing well and feeling reassured. Time passed, and the season gradually changed to winter. The air outside was cold, and breaths turned into white mist. One night, after finishing a night shift, I returned home, dragging my tired body. As I headed towards the bedroom and started to change clothes, something caught my eye. There was an unfamiliar lip balm lying there. "Is this Matt's? I've never seen this before," I thought, picking up the lip balm from the floor. Matt usually showed little interest in skincare products, particularly not lip balm. Maybe he bought it on a whim because of the harsh winter dryness. However, the packaging of the lip balm was unlike typical men's products, with a sophisticated design more appealing to women. The lid was adorned with glitter, and the product name was written in pink letters, standing out prominently. Intrigued by this odd discovery, I slid the lip balm into my pocket. That night, when Matt returned from work, I decided to ask him about it. "Matt, is this your lip balm?" I asked. For a moment, Matt looked surprised. Then he quickly smiled and took the lip balm from me. "Ha, yes, that's mine. I've been looking for it. Thanks for finding it, Rachel. Where did you find it?" "It was on the bedroom floor," I replied. Matt seemed a bit flustered. "What's wrong? Is there something odd?" I asked. Matt replied somewhat sheepishly, "Well, it's uncommon for a guy to use lip balm, so it's a bit embarrassing." "It's not embarrassing at all. Many men take care of their lips these days. But that lip balm looks a bit too feminine. Maybe choose something simpler next time," I suggested. Matt nodded. "Yeah, I'll pick a more normal one next time. I actually chose it in a hurry and later realized it might be a bit girly. Anyway, let's watch a movie." That movie you wanted to see has started streaming." He changed the subject. I was a bit puzzled by Matt's behavior in deflecting the conversation, but soon got engrossed in the movie and forgot about it. About a month later, I received an unexpected call from Nick while on my way home from a night shift. "Nick, it's been a while." "What's up?" I greeted him cheerfully. Nick's voice sounded weak. "Mom, I'm sorry I've been busy lately and couldn't always answer the phone." Indeed, I had noticed that Nick hadn't been answering my calls as frequently. I had been worried, but since we were communicating via Messenger, I thought there were no major problems. "Don't worry about it. It's okay. But you sound a bit down. Is something wrong?" I asked and was surprised by Nick's response. "Mom, can you increase the amount of the allowance? Living on $3 a month is really tough." "What? $3 a month?" My voice rose in astonishment. I couldn't understand why the allowance would be only $3 a month. I was certain I had been sending Nick $1,000 every month. "I didn't want to tell you since you lost your job, Mom, but it's really hard with only $3 a month," Nick continued. "Lost my job? What are you talking about?" I was confused and couldn't understand what he was saying. I had just finished a night shift and certainly wasn't fired, as I struggled to comprehend the situation. Nick's troubled voice continued, "Wait, Mom, I heard you were fired. You said you'd send $11,000 a month at first, but now it's only $3. What are you talking about? Anyway, I'm coming over to your place right now." After hanging up, I tried to head to the station quickly, but my legs wouldn't move properly in my agitation. I was surprised by this unexpected development, and my heart was pounding. Trying to calm down, I took deep breaths, slapped my cheeks to focus, and quickened my pace to the station. After changing trains, I arrived at the station near Nick's apartment. I contacted Nick on my phone, telling him I would be there soon. When I reached Nick's apartment and rang the doorbell, the door opened immediately. "Welcome, Mom," Nick said. He looked shockingly thin and pale, as if he might collapse at any moment. "Nick, are you okay?" I asked, surprised and worried. Seeing Nick's condition, my heart was filled with pain and sadness. When I entered Nick's apartment, it was chillingly cold inside, and the heater was completely off. "Aren't you using the heater? It's so cold you'll get sick." "Let's turn it on right now," I suggested, worried. "No, I can't. The electricity bill is too high. I'm just managing with this blanket," Nick replied, his voice trembling, his thin body shivering. "Nick, I've been transferring $1,000 every month to your account since September. There's no truth to me quitting my job," I explained slowly. "Really? But only $3 is being deposited into my account every month. I've been working part-time, but with university studies, it's been really busy." I was at my limit, Nick answered earnestly. I believed Nick wasn't the kind of child to lie. His emaciated appearance and the fact that he was living without heating in this cold weather made it clear that his words were true. "I understand, Nick. I'm not doubting you, but to find out the cause of this situation, could you show me your bank book?" I asked quietly. "Okay, just give me a moment." Nick went to look for his bank book. He carefully took it out from a shelf in his neatly arranged room and showed it to me. As I looked at the bank book, it was indeed as Nick had said. Only $3 was being deposited each month. "Nick, I'm sorry, but truly I've been sending $1,000 every month. What could be going on here?" I said. "First, I'll withdraw some cash from a nearby ATM." Saying this, I went to the ATM, immediately withdrew the cash, and returned to Nick. "Nick, take this for now until we find out the reason. I'll give you the money directly starting next month. Can I really accept this much?" "Thank you, Mom. I always pretended to be fine to avoid worrying you, but I'm glad I could tell you the truth today," Nick said, smiling weakly but happily. Seeing his thin frame, I felt a tightness in my chest. I couldn't comprehend how such a situation had arisen, but now Nick's health was my top priority. First, I need to take proper care of him. Nick, I'm glad you contacted me. From now on, don't endure the cold. Use the heater properly. I'm going to do some shopping now. I'll make lots of your favorite hamburgers and curry." Really, Nick's eyes sparkled with life. After that, I went to the nearby supermarket, bought plenty of ingredients, and returned to Nick's apartment to cook elaborate dishes. Nick joyfully ate, saying how delicious it was repeatedly. I made plenty of food that could be frozen so he wouldn't have to worry about meals for a while. Then I'll bring the allowance money directly next month as well. Saying this, I left Nick's apartment. A month later, on the weekend, when Matt returned from work, he confronted me with an angry expression. "Today's the day to send money to Nick, right? You haven't been slacking off, have you?" "It's fine. I went and gave it to Nick directly today. Is there a problem?" I answered him. Matt seemed puzzled and said, "If that's the case, all right then," and quickly headed to the bedroom. When he came back to the living room, dressed in his casual home clothes, I quickly asked him a question, feeling suspicious. "Why did you think I was slacking off with the allowance? Is there a reason?" Matt, a bit bewildered, replied, That. Today is payday, and usually it's the day we send money to Nick. But you didn't mention anything about it, so I got a bit worried. But let's leave this topic now." He clearly tried to change the subject while showing signs of irritation. Matt's behavior was unusual and noticeably strange. "I have another question," I said calmly. "Do you remember the lip balm we found in the bedroom before? You said you bought it yourself, but is it actually from your mistress?" "No, that's not true at all," Matt immediately denied loudly. He continued, looking more upset. "That lip balm was indeed mine. I bought it myself. I wish you wouldn't keep asking the same question. You're acting strange today." "You're the one who's acting strange. You're usually calm and don't react so intensely," I pointed out. Matt, raising his voice even more, argued back, "I'm not strange. I'm just as usual." "Well, I expected this might happen. That's why I invited some special guests in advance, people you know very well." Saying this, I slowly opened the door to the guest room. "Sorry for keeping you waiting so long. Please come in." Responding to my call, 3 individuals appeared before Matt. "What? Her and even Dad and Mom are here." Matt was so astonished that he was lost for words. The woman named Erica, clearly in a bad mood, muttered, "This couldn't get any worse," and sat down heavily on a dining chair. Meanwhile, my in-laws looked at Matt with a stern gaze, and his face gradually turned pale. 3 weeks earlier, I had consulted my father-in-law, a former bank employee, about why only $3 was being transferred to Nick. My father-in-law quickly investigated the issue and discovered that there were 2 bank accounts under Nick's name. Matt had opened one of those accounts. Despite my offer to set it up myself, Matt insisted, "Leave it to me. I'll handle it." Eventually, he was the one who opened the account. My father-in-law revealed through conversations with bank staff that Matt had opened 2 bank accounts using Nick's name, claiming it was for living and tuition expenses. The cash card and bank book for the account, where I had been depositing $1,000 monthly, were actually under Matt's control. "I'll manage one of the accounts, so leave the card and book to me," he had insisted, possibly taking them from Nick. Then Matt withdrew the $1,000 deposited by me every month from that account for his own use. Moreover, to make it seem like he was still sending money to Nick, he deposited a mere $3 into the other account that Nick had the bank book for. After learning this shocking truth, I was trembling with anger and deeply suspicious about how Matt was using the large monthly sum. I then remembered the charmingly designed lip balm I had found in the bedroom before. Driven by this intuition, I decided to have a detective agency investigate Matt's activities. The investigation revealed that Matt was having an affair with a woman named Erica, his subordinate. While I was out on night shifts, Matt had been secretly inviting Erica to our home. Having gathered enough evidence, I decided to confront Matt with the truth by inviting my in-laws and Erica, Matt's mistress. "Matt, you must be aware, but your misconduct has already been exposed," I told him sternly. Matt's face turned ashen, his lips trembling slightly. "All the $1,000 sent to Nick each month. You were using it all for Erica, weren't you? How terrible. According to the detective agency's report, you bought Erica an expensive brand necklace. What were you thinking?" Matt vehemently protested. "No, I did buy jewelry, but that's not all. I didn't use all $1,000 just for gifts. Erica's mother was seriously ill and hospitalized for a long time. I was providing financial support for her medical expenses. I was just trying to help someone." "Is that true, Erica, about your mother being sick? Please be aware that lying won't help, as it will eventually be revealed. Can you tell us the truth?" I asked. Erica was silent for a moment and then reacted with a bit of anger. "That's a lie. All of it. My mom is healthy and working on the farm in the countryside every day. The story about her being sick is all made up." Hearing this, Matt shouted, trembling with anger. "What? You lied to me? I can't believe it. Do you know how much money I've been giving you?" Erica, without any sign of remorse, laughed mockingly. "Ha, you're a fool for being deceived. I thought I had found a good cash cow, but it's over now. I thought I could milk you for longer, but I miscalculated. Such a shame. A cash cow. You said you loved me. Was that all a lie? Your feelings for me weren't real. You do love me, don't you?" Matt was confused and angry, seeming to forget that I and his parents were present. It was extremely unpleasant for me to see my husband cling to a younger woman in such a pathetic manner. It was embarrassing, pitiful, and deeply unsettling. Suppressing my disgust, I confronted the situation. "Just think about it. How could a young and attractive woman like me really love a middle-aged man like you, Matt? It's laughable. Do you even realize your own worth? Look in the mirror and face reality." Erica burst into mocking laughter. Although Erica's words might be true, her brazen attitude infuriated me. To think such a thing in response to a shocked Matt, I presented him with 3 documents. The first was the bank transaction history, the second was conclusive evidence with photos of the affair, and the third was a divorce form. A divorce form? Wait, are we really getting divorced? Matt was shocked, ignoring the first 2 documents and focusing on the divorce form. "Of course, how can I continue married life with a man who wastes his son's allowance? But I didn't intend to get divorced over this situation alone. This is a separate issue." Matt mumbled some excuses, but I exploded in anger at his ridiculous remarks. "I can't believe this. You have an affair, and yet you think we wouldn't get divorced. How you treated Nick is unforgivable. What kind of parent are you? Did you really think he could live on $3 a month? Nick has been working hard at part-time jobs, scrimping and saving, becoming skin and bones. He couldn't even properly use the heater. You're terrible. Sign the divorce form now." "I do feel sorry for Nick," I added. "When I heard Erica's mother was sick and with all her demands, I desperately needed money." Matt weakly tried to justify himself. That's when my father-in-law delivered a powerful blow to Matt with a short cry of "ah." Matt collapsed, and his father's angry voice boomed. "You stupid son. Sign the divorce form as Rachel says right now." Dazed, Matt faced me, and I firmly stated, "Of course, I'll be demanding compensation. I'll add up all the money you wasted too." "Compensation? You can't be serious." Matt was shocked. "And Erica, I will also demand payment of compensation from you, so be prepared," I said. Erica's face turned pale, beginning to panic. "Wait a minute. Why should I pay compensation? I can't pay," she protested. "You should pay because you were involved in an affair with a married person. I have the right to demand compensation from you, and I will make sure you pay it," I responded. Erica, glaring at Matt, said, "Matt, you have to pay for me too. I don't have any money. I spend all my salary on cosmetics, clothes, and bags. I have no savings." "Nonsense. I don't have any money either. You took everything. If you hadn't deceived me, none of this would have happened. You're just a devil?" Matt yelled. As the two argued, Matt suddenly turned to me, pleading, "Rachel, please spare me the compensation. I'll agree to the divorce. Just drop the compensation claim, please. I really have nothing. Look, we've supported each other until now," tears streaming down his face. But I felt only revulsion. My love for Matt vanished the moment I learned he had been spending Nick's allowance on his affair. "If you resist any further, I'll double the compensation. Sign the divorce form now. I'll properly claim the compensation later," I stated resolutely. Realizing my determination, Matt signed the divorce form. "I've signed it. Are you happy now?" Matt said in a weak voice, handing over the divorce form. "Yes, thank you. Now please leave immediately." "What? Do I have to leave?" Matt was surprised. "Of course, we're getting divorced. We can't live together anymore. You need to take responsibility. Erica, please leave quickly too." After I sternly expelled Matt and Erica from the house, my in-laws repeatedly apologized for their son's misdeeds, but they were not at fault. I was full of gratitude for my father-in-law, whose efforts uncovered Matt's wrongdoings. After expressing my sincere thanks to my in-laws, I headed to the municipal office and submitted the divorce papers, thereby ending my marriage to Matt. Subsequently, through a lawyer, I made compensation claims against Matt and Erica. Despite their civil servant status, they had been openly dating, and there had been rumors of their affair for some time. As a result of the compensation claim, they both became mentally strained, making mistakes at work, leading to demotion to less significant positions. Unable to bear the cold treatment from colleagues, Erica chose to resign. Matt, disowned by his parents, is now leading a tough life in a modest apartment, paying compensation to me. Erica, though her parents paid the compensation, had to return to her parents' rural home. In exchange, she ended up helping with farm work at home, living a life without freedom under the strict supervision of her parents. I received apologies from Erica's parents over the phone and was informed in detail about Erica's current situation. They said they were keeping a strict watch on her to prevent her from causing any more trouble. For myself, I decided to sell my home and move to a place closer to my son, Nick's apartment. Nick and I often meet and keep each other updated about our lives. I informed Nick about the divorce with Matt over the phone. On the same day, Nick couldn't believe that Matt had lied about me losing my job and only being able to send $3 a month. When I told him the truth, he was deeply shocked. Could it be a mistake? Dad, who was always so kind, doing something like that? Nick said, his voice trembling. I also felt pained by his reaction. Indeed, Matt had once been kind, a good husband and father, but everything changed after his affair with Erica began. Looking back at the happy days with my family of 3, my heart still aches, but I know I must not dwell on the past. Moving forward is important. Initially, Nick was deeply shocked, but over time he gradually regained his cheerfulness. After a few months, he returned to his usual bright self, which relieved me. Time passed, and Nick finally graduated from university and secured a job at a well-known company, marking the end of my role in raising him. I continue to work as a nurse and plan to continue in this profession for as long as my health permits. I still maintain a good relationship with my in-laws, who celebrated Nick's graduation. I intend to continue living a fulfilling life, both in my career and personal life.